Welcome to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/Animal Stories for Kids. And now, it's time for our story. Once upon a time, there was an Asian elephant named Aradanya. Aradanya, the Asian elephant, lived in a valley with her family next to a rice field near a small village on the countryside. Aradanya was a playful elephant calf, and she was known for two things: her endless energy and a huge love for adventure. One sunny afternoon, while having fun in the rice fields near her family, she spotted a flash of orange and black amongst the tall grass. "Ooh, I wonder what that bright-colored thing is over there," said Aradanya the Asian elephant. As she got closer and closer, she was able to see what it was. It was a young tiger cub, and its fur was bright orange and black. Aradanya, who was curious and very friendly, walked towards the cub. The cub was cautious and stood up to walk back, but it soon warmed up to the gentle giant. Hi," said the tiger cub. "I promise not to hurt you if you don't hurt me. I just wandered away from my mother, and, while I'm waiting for her to find me, do you want to play?" asked the tiger cub. Aradanya the Asian elephant said, "Sure. Do you want to play tag?" she asked. And the tiger cub said, "Sure." And so the tiger cub and Aradanya the Asian elephant playfully chased each other through the fields. They were laughing and giggling and having so much fun. You can even hear their laughter and giggles echoing through the valley. Aradanya's trunk would swat playfully at the cub, who would respond with playful growls and leaps. But as they were running around and having so much fun, their fun was interrupted by a loud roar that came from the other side of the rice fields. The tiger cub listened and looked at Aradanya with a concerned face. It was the cub's mother. "Oh no," the tiger cub said. "I think that's my mother. I gotta go see what's wrong." So the tiger cub ran off. But Aradanya, the Asian elephant, was concerned too. She was having so much fun with her new friend, but the friend's mother was in trouble. So Aradanya, the Asian elephant, ran right behind the tiger cub to see what was wrong. When they both arrived at the place where they heard the roar, there was a tiger trapped in a patch of quicksand. It was the tiger cub's mother, and her eyes were filled with fear. Aradanya knew she had to act fast. With a determined look, she turned around and ran towards her family, trumpeting loud for help. And when Aradanya got to her mother, Aradanya the Asian elephant told her what happened and that her new friend's mother was trapped in quicksand. Her mother was the leader of the family, and she was wise, and she understood immediately. Together, they rushed to the quicksand, splashing in the rice fields with every step. And when they arrived at the quicksand, Aradanya carefully reached her trunk towards the trapped tiger, and Aradanya's mother wrapped around Aradanya's leg as she dug her feet into the ground to anchor them. And inch by inch, they pulled the tiger out of the quicksand and to safety. The tiger cub said to Aradanya, "Thank you so much. You saved my mother's life. I'm so happy that we're friends." And once the tiger's mother was free, she thanked Aradanya and her mother, and they went off on their separate ways. A few days later, Aradanya found herself near the edge of the rice fields, near a forest where a group of baboons lived. An infant baboon was playing around, and Aradanya the Asian elephant saw it. The infant baboon grabbed a stick and threw it, and so Aradanya went to grab it for the baboon. She ran and grabbed the stick, and she brought the stick back to the baboon and said, "Hey, baboon, you lost this stick, and I wanted to bring it back to you." The infant baboon said,
"Oh, I didn't lose it. I was just trying to see how far I can throw it."
Aradanya said, "Oh, really? I think you can throw it much farther than that."
"Really?"
asked the baboon.
"You think so?"
"Sure," said Aradanya. "I bet you can throw it way into the forest. Go ahead. I'll keep an eye on it and get it and bring it back. I'm a pretty fast runner, you know." The infant baboon said,
"Okay, if you don't mind running back and forth."
"I don't," said Aradanya the Asian elephant. So the baboon, realizing how much fun this was going to be, giggled and picked up the stick and threw it hard. And it went farther. And Aradanya giggled with joy too as she ran for the stick and brought it back. "Try again," Aradanya said. "I think you can go much farther than that too." And the infant baboon was having so much fun, it kept giggling and threw the stick again with all its might and said,
"What about that? Did that one go farther?"
Aradanya said, "Yup, it sure did. It's actually much farther. Let's go get it together." So Aradanya and the infant baboon went together to get the stick. And as they got closer, they heard a cry for help. They both looked up and saw that one of the baboons had gotten tangled in some vines while climbing a tree. Aradanya saw that the baboon was in trouble, and so she went back to the rice fields and told her aunt about it. The auntie elephant ran behind Aradanya into the forest to see what was wrong. When Aradanya showed her aunt the tangled up baboon, the adult elephant grabbed the vines and just ripped them with no problem, freeing the baboon very easily. And all the baboons who were around cheered and thanked Aradanya and her aunt for helping save the baboon. The next day, Aradanya was chasing some dragonflies that caught her eye. She was having so much fun as she kept almost catching them. And Aradanya the Asian elephant wandered a little too far from her family. Lost in the excitement of the chase, she didn't realize how far she had wandered until the dragonflies disappeared. And she found herself alone in the middle of the forest. She began to worry a little. How would she get home? If she was in the middle of the forest, how would any of the others know where she was? So she got desperate and she trumpeted loudly, calling out for her family. But all she heard was the rustling of leaves. Then tears started to well up in her eyes as she realized that she was truly lost. And just when she thought she was stuck by herself in the middle of the forest, she heard a familiar giggle. "Wait, I know that giggle," said Aradanya the Asian elephant. It was the infant baboon, and it came swinging from a branch above her.
"Hey, I heard a sad trumpeting,"
said the infant baboon.
"and I wanted to make sure everything was okay. I can't believe you were lost in the middle of this forest."
Aradanya the Asian elephant wrapped her trunk around the infant baboon and said, "Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. It was getting really lonely." Then they both heard some footsteps, and from behind the bush, they saw the tiger cub.
"Hey, is everything okay?"
the tiger cub asked.
"I thought I heard a trumpeting of a young elephant."
Aradanya let go of the infant baboon and wrapped her trunk around the tiger cub and said, "Wow, how did you even find me here?" The tiger cub said,
"I kept hearing a trumpeting and wanted to see if an animal was in trouble. Boy, am I glad you're here and that you're okay."
Aradanya said, "I'm doing much better than okay now. I'm doing great."
"Let's get you home,"
said the tiger cub. "Really?" asked Aradanya the Asian elephant. "You want to help me get back home? Are you sure? It's pretty dangerous out there." The infant baboon then said to her,
"You helped us when we needed help. You were good to us. Of course we will help you."
The tiger cub said,
Yeah, you helped us without even a thought, and we know that's the type of kind-hearted elephant you are. If good things were to come to anyone, it would definitely come to you. When you help others, help comes to you everywhere you go. You helped my mother in the quicksand, and you helped the other baboon that was stuck in the vines. We're more than happy to help.
And they walked together through the forest, and they all retraced their steps and walked for a long time. And eventually, they came back to the rice fields, and they brought Aradanya back to her family. And all the other elephants gathered around them and thanked the infant baboon and the tiger cub. And then they all went their separate ways. Aradanya had a great adventure with her new friends, and she was mostly happy that she was back with her family safe and sound. Her journey of meeting new friends and all of them helping each other out made her realize that the good she did for others somehow came back to her when she needed it. And every now and then, she would run into her friends, and they would catch up with each other and play together, as they did when they first met. And the Asian elephant lived happily ever after. The end. The Asian elephant, or Elephas maximus, is also known as the Asiatic elephant. There are 3 subspecies of the Asian elephant, which are grouped by their location and size. The Sri Lankan elephant, which is the largest of the Asian elephants, the Sumatran elephant, and the Indian elephant. And some scientists say that Borneo pygmy elephants may also be part of the subspecies, which would make them the smallest of the subspecies. Asian elephants are generally smaller than African elephants. The Asian elephant is the largest living land animal in Asia. The Asian elephant is an endangered species. The Asian elephant has the highest point of the body on the head, and the back is convex or level. They have smaller ears compared to African elephants, and the dorsals of their ears are typically folded. Asian elephants have small, rounded ears, which also helps regulate their body temperature. The forehead has 2 bulges, which is different from the flat front that the African elephants have. The Asian elephant has 1 finger-like tip on its trunk, whereas the African elephant have 2. This makes it so that the Asian elephant relies more on wrapping around the food rather than squeezing it and putting it in its mouth with the tip of the trunk. They are gray-colored and have wrinkled skin, but they can be also smoother than African elephants. Asian elephants don't all have tusks. Some males have tusks, but females don't. And some males have a smaller variety of tusks, and they're called tushes, which can barely be visible and can only be seen when the mouth is open. Asian elephants can weigh on an average between 6,000 and 12,000 pounds, and they generally stand from 6 to 12 feet tall at the shoulder, and the males are generally larger than females. Their body can range from 18 to 21 feet long, and their tails can be up to 4.9 feet long. Asian elephants are forest animals, but they also enjoy the grasslands. Asian elephants are crepuscular animals, which mean most of their activity is done in the early morning or at dusk. Asian elephants are herbivores and can eat up to 330 pounds of plants every day. They generally graze and look around for food, and they can eat all sorts of different types of plant species. Elephants can communicate over long distances using low-pitched sounds that humans can barely hear, and some of these can be heard from more than 2 miles away. Asian elephants have a great sense of smell. The male Asian elephants usually are solitary for most of their lives, which means they're usually on their own. And female Asian elephants generally live in matriarchal groups called herds, where one female leads all of the elephants. And she is generally the oldest of the whole group and takes responsibility to find food and water for the herd and they can generally be up to 20 different elephants in these herds. Have you seen a real-life Asian elephant before? If you have, where did you see it? If you want to write to us, ask your parent to email us at animalstoriesforkids@gmail.com and tell us what you think of our stories. We would love to hear from you. Thanks for listening to Animal Stories for Kids. If you like our stories, please give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to our podcast, and share it with your friends and family. If you're listening on Spotify, you can support the podcast through listener support. Plus, check out exclusive show-related content and join the community at patreon.com/animalstoriesforkids. Until next time, bye!